A destination blind is manufactured by a screen printing technique. We first receive a list of destinations. That list of names will then go through to the factory, who will then get the artwork ready for it by importing the list of names so that we can then cut it on a plotter, which is a machine that cuts artwork at full size, which gives us a really good quality stencil. After the letter's been cut out, you then have to weed each of the lettering out, which takes out the letter itself, and behind that letter is a clear acetate backing. That then becomes a negative stencil, which is then transferred into our light table room. The next stage is where we would have a screen, which used to be silk screen. It's polyester mesh now. That screen is then coated with a light sensitive emulsion. Then a frame will be lowered that has a rubber sheet that is sucked down, and what that does, it actually holds the stencil tight to the mesh so that there's no spacing to let light flood between the lettering and the screen. And then we would switch lights on and a timer and expose that screen to the UV light. Once that's done, we would then switch it off, lift the frame up, take the frame, which as far as you can see is just coated in green emulsion, we'll transfer that to a water bath and just spray clear cold water over it. And what will happen is the black areas that have not had the light exposing it will wash away. The hard areas where the clear lettering is, that the light has been touched, will stay hard and become the positive image on the screen ready for printing. It's then transferred to a drying cabinet to dry and take all the excess water away. It's then put against a backing where you can see through it, and any specks that may need touching up will be touched up, and it will get then racked ready for the printers to take over. A printer will clamp it into a frame above a base that's got suction holes on it. The suction holes are there to hold the material in place to allow the blind to be printed without it moving and sliding. They will then lower the printing frame down and then print from one end to the other and push through the squeegee and the ink through. Once the first print's done, it's then transferred onto a conveyor belt. This conveyor belt passes through a two-stage heater dryer. The first stage is the heater, that dries the ink on the material. The second stage cools it to enable the operator on the end of the conveyor belt to roll the blind up and check it while he's doing that to make sure there's no specks of dust transferred onto the blind. And once he's happy with that, he'll roll it up and put it in the box ready for the next stage. They will then be taken into our finishing department where they will be hemmed at each end. Hemming is a process where we fold a lip on the end of each blind of about 25mm. The hemming is required to feed a rod through which loads it onto the roller in the destination sign. Hemming is very important, and it's very important that it's kept square. We use a set square and a steel ruler. The set square is positioned down the edge of the blind with the steel ruler underneath to make sure it is 100% square the end. If it isn't 100% square when it is fitted into a destination unit, it will start going from side to side and will eventually scrunch up and possibly tear. The blind will leave the finishing department and go into our sign department. The sign department is where they're responsible for actually loading the destination blind into the destination sign, making sure the software in the controller is the correct one, and then they test the controller against the destination blind and make sure it works correctly before shipping it out of the factory.